Thanks everyone for joining. My name is Sapna Dixit. I am a Strategic Accounts Manager here at Peninsula Clean Energy, and today we're going to do a webinar to give an overview of Data Connect, which is a newly launched platform for data access. And this overview is for third parties and energy contractors. And I'm joined by Rob from UtilityAPI, and we're going to provide kind of an overview and do a demo. So the agenda for today is just some housekeeping rules for the webinar, and we'll do a couple of introductions for both of us as well as for our organizations. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the data access challenges that prompted us to launch this platform and partner with UtilityAPI, and give an overview of Data Connect as a platform. And then Rob will go ahead and do a demo so you can see kind of what it looks like, how you register and how to use the tool. And then we'll have Q&A at the end. So in terms of housekeeping, this webinar will be recorded. It's being recorded. So we'll be sending out the link afterwards. And there'll be time for Q&A at the end. So if you could keep your questions to the end, but if there is any pressing questions you have during the slides, then you can feel free to unmute yourself. I think we have a small enough group that we can do that. Unmute yourself and ask your questions. It's no problem. Or you can put it into the chat if you'd like, and we will get to those questions as soon as we can or towards the end of the webinar. And we'll be sending out the slides as well after the presentation. And if we get disconnected, if there's any kind of a technical glitch, please check your email, because we'll be sending out an email on further instructions. But hopefully that is not going to happen. We're not going to have those issues and everything will go smoothly. So as introduction, my name, like I said, is Sapna Dixit. I'm the Strategic Accounts Manager here at Peninsula Clean Energy. And I've been in this role for 2 years. And my primary role is really to work with our commercial customers, our larger commercial accounts, supporting them on energy services and billing rates, other things like that, as well as programs. So supporting any of our the implementation of energy programs on with the commercial sector. I'm kind of the lead on doing that. So that's a little bit about my role. And I just wanted to do a quick introduction, hand it over to Rob Zakim to introduce himself as well from UtilityAPI.
Yeah, thanks, Abna. Hey, everyone. My name is Rob Zakim. I'm the sales director at UtilityAPI. I've been with the company for about 4.5 years. I'm also a former customer of UtilityAPI. I came from the solar sector, so I worked at a few companies that use the platform to pull data for our proposals. And excited to show you a demo today and show you the functionality of what we've built with Peninsula Clean Energy with Data Connect.
Great. Thank you, Rob. Thanks so much. So before we get into it, I just wanted to do a really brief overview of Peninsula Clean Energy. You all might be familiar, but I wanted to do a quick introduction about our company. We are what's called a community choice aggregator. Our role is really being the default electricity provider for San Mateo County in the Bay Area. This kind of business model is definitely growing across California. We're a not-for-profit public agency. And our service area is San Mateo County. And so there's 20 cities and the unincorporated county in San Mateo County. So those are the areas that we serve. We launched in 2016. We have a board of directors made up of city council members from each of those 20 cities. And because we're a public agency, we're basically very transparent. All of our documents and information is up on our website. And so you can always go and look at that to see what we're up to. Our mission is to reduce greenhouse gas emissions in San Mateo County by expanding access to sustainable and affordable energy solutions. So we're focused on procuring clean electricity, but also providing community energy solutions for San Mateo County. So quickly, in terms of the business model here, Peninsula Clean Energy provides the electricity. So we procure clean electricity from different types of generation sources, or on the open market or by signing PPAs, and we source that and deliver that electricity through PG&E to residents and businesses of San Mateo County. And so PG&E is the local investor-owned utility in San Mateo County. Before we launched in 2016, PG&E was responsible for procuring the electricity and delivering it. But now we do the procurement, which was procuring the generation, and PG&E delivers the electricity through their assets. And so they own the power lines and the distribution system. So if you're a Peninsula Clean Energy customer, you are also a PG&E customer, and PG&E sends a consolidated bill. So the bill comes from PG&E, and our charges are show up on that bill as generation charges. So as you can see, the data is already a bit split. PG&E has the delivery and the meter data, and we have the generation data. And so, but our customers are customers of both. In terms of one of our real focuses, we really are focused on community reinvestment, and so programs that support the community and further the goal of reducing carbon emissions in San Mateo County. And so as you can see here, we focus on various types of programs, buildings, transportation, resiliency, really focused on electrification of the county. And I know a lot of you that are probably joining us on this webinar today have similar types of programs that you are implementing for your customer base. And so, as you know, energy data is really critical to the success of these programs, whether it's like providing a quote or doing a savings analysis or any of that kind of work. Energy data is really the foundation for a lot of these programs. And we want to support making that data more easily accessible to any third parties that are implementing programs in San Mateo County and supporting our customers with those kind of projects. And so that was kind of the impetus of partnering with UtilityAPI on this tool. So that's kind of an overview of what we do as Peninsula Clean Energy. Rob, do you want to give a quick overview of UtilityAPI?
Yeah, sure. So UtilityAPI, we are an 8-year startup based out of Oakland, California. We exist to ease the transition of utility data from utility account holders to third parties that need that data for their energy projects. And also just for utility account holders that need a better way to access their own data from a historical standpoint or on an ongoing basis. So we offer a simple, fast solution for requesting and downloading utility customer bill and interval data. Our service has been used by thousands of DERs and energy efficiency companies, building energy management companies, property managers, EV companies, and so forth. We offer a standards compliant green button solution for utilities, for those who are familiar with how that works. And our platform is the only UL tested Green Button Alliance certified green button platform in the United States.
All right, thank you, Rob. Thanks so much. So here, we wanted to quickly talk about give an overview of kind of the challenges that we know in terms of getting data access, utility data access for your customers. And so there's different ways you can currently get that data. You can get it directly from the customer themselves. So basically ask them for a paper bill or a PDF bill, which is a little bit challenging because they may not have the bills handy. They may not know how to get access to them. So it's a little bit of a time-consuming process. And then there's this data authorization form that we as a utility and most utilities have. It's a paper or PDF request form. Basically, you fill that out, have the customer sign it, send it back, and then we would authorizes us to share that data with a third party. So you wait for that data to be sent over to the third party. So that's also a little bit of a manual process. And then in our area, PG&E has Share My Data. So Share My Data is a similar kind of platform for data sharing that PG&E launched a while back. With that platform, you do register with PG&E, and there's a little bit of technical work involved to get set up as a third party and get integrated with their tool. So that is a little bit of a challenge. And then once PG&E approves that registration, you can request permission from the customer and download that data. but that doesn't always have the complete set of data. So the Peninsula Clean Energy cost data may not be in that data set. And so, so that's not ideal. And so these are kind of the current ways to access the data. And so we wanted to provide Data Connect as an easier way to get access to the full set of data that you might need for customers in San Mateo County. And so Data Connect is a secure software platform powered by UtilityAPI, and it'll allow for free, instant, and authorized access to Peninsula Clean Energy customer utility data. So some of the features that you will see in the tool, it's a secure and dashboard where you can manually download data in multiple formats. And it's free for all the transactions in San Mateo County when you're working with our customers. It's a streamlined registration and authorization process. There is an API which Rob will talk about for backend technical integration as well. And our customers themselves can actually get access to this and download their own data. And so for commercial customers, that is an option for them right now to do that. And they can also share that data with third parties as well. And they have control over kind of reviewing those authorizations. And so we'll show you in a minute, but the type of data available in the dashboard here, you can get access to PG&E bills, a billing summary and line items report, and that'll include Peninsula Clean Energy and PG&E usage and charges information. And then there is the interval report, which has the 15 or 60-minute interval meter data, depending on the type of customer and how PG&E collects that data. And you have the ability to get historical data as well as ongoing data going forward and monitoring for that as new data comes through. So we are also working with UtilityAPI to incorporate natural gas data into the tool. It's not available today, but we are hoping that we'll be able to get that in soon. So you can also get therm information as well from Data Connect. So that is kind of an overview here. These are the main steps involved, and we'll walk through these in the demo. You basically register through Data Connect and create your UtilityAPI account. You get authorization from the customer. So you create the customer request, send it over through email, and then they can basically receive that and authorize which meters and how much historical data they want to provide access to, and you will receive confirmation of that permission. Then you log into the dashboard and download the customer data. So that's an overview of what this tool does, and a little bit of an overview of Data Connect and how it came to be. But we can go now directly into a demo that Rob's going to run. So I'm going to stop sharing here and go to the demo. But if unless there's any questions at this point, we can just show you the platform itself. So
great. Thanks so much, Sapna. And thanks everyone again for joining the webinar today. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. And as Sapna mentioned, there are three main components. The first one is how to register as a third party for Data Connect. The second component is how to get an authorization from your customer. And then the third part is downloading the actual data and what the different files entail. So first step, how do you register as a third party with Peninsula Clean Energy's Data Connect platform? You want to visit peninsulacleanenergy.com/data-connect. And you simply scroll down to where it says third parties and contractors, and then click register. When you click register, the registration form will appear. It should only take you a minute or two to fill out. It's pretty straightforward. So it's going to ask you for your name, your company email. It's going to ask you your company's name and your company's website. You want to make sure you add the HTTPS here. And then you'll notice it's going to ask you to create a set of login credentials. And the reason for the login credentials is because when you register with Data Connect, a UtilityAPI account is going to be automatically created for you. And the reason for this is with your UtilityAPI account, you're going to have a dashboard that serves as a place for you to not only view the data you've downloaded from your customers in the past, but also from where you can request new authorizations from new customers. So go ahead and create a set of login credentials here. And then scope of use disclosure, this is where you want to put down what you're using the data for. So if you're a solar company, we're using the data for, to build proposals. If you're energy efficiency, it's to calculate ROI over time as we collect data from the customer. So basically what you're doing with the data. Scope of use terms URL is optional, but this is if you'd like to upload the terms of service from your company's website. And then directory listing. So this is important. You want to keep this checked. We want you on Peninsula Clean Energy's website. This is where you're listed in a directory so that, not only can you send out data requests to your customers, but customers can find you in PCE's directory and choose to share their data with you if they're looking to get a quote or something along those lines. So having this checked ensures that your company and your logo will be uploaded to PCE's directory. Agree to terms and conditions, and then click register and you'll be all finished. In terms of getting approved as a third party, once you finish the registration, PCE will be notified. And Sapna, what's the general turnaround? Is it usually, about 24, 48 hours for a third party to be approved and get out of sandbox into live mode?
Yeah, that's right. It's going to be really quick, within a day.
Sweet. Okay, great. So now that you're registered as a third party, the next step is you want to log into your new UtilityAPI account. And I just want to mention, if there are any companies on the call that are currently a customer of UtilityAPI, you can also register as a third party with Peninsula Clean Energy simply by visiting the settings in your UtilityAPI dashboard and then scrolling down to utility registrations. So a couple different options there, but to log into your new UtilityAPI account, you just click on login, or you just visit utilityapi.com. And so this is your new dashboard. Obviously yours will be blank at first, but the purpose of the dashboard is, again, to see your authorizations and the corresponding data that comes along with those authorizations. And then also from where you can request data from your customer. And really quickly, before I dive into part 2, which is getting the authorization from your customer, I want to point out something quickly. So I'm just going to go to my settings in the upper right-hand corner. So if you registered with UtilityAPI from Peninsula Clean Energy's website, you have what's called a PCE only account, which means you can only use us with PCE customers. Now, UtilityAPI does support other utilities across the US with a paid service. Data Connect is 100% free for you to use. But if you ever need data outside of Peninsula Clean Energy's territory, you can click on convert to a full UtilityAPI account here, and the rest of our supported utilities will appear in your drop-down menu. So I just want to quickly point that out. If any of you do need data outside, this is how you do it right here. So going back to my dashboard, I'm just going to focus right up here where it says request data. So you're engaged with the lead. They're interested in getting a quote or proposal from you or what have you, and you want to request their data. Now that you have an account with UtilityAPI, you're going to notice you have your own unique authorization link that looks just like mine. And this is what you want your customer to click on. So a lot of folks like to just copy the link and they can email it to their customer. A lot of folks put it into a canned response email, such as, hey, this is who we are. This is why we're requesting your data. This is what we're going to do with your data. To quickly and securely share your Peninsula Clean Energy data, please click here. It's also mobile friendly. So if you use any sort of chatbot system or text system, you can send them the link that way. And if you'd like to have a place where lead intakes on your website can also share data, this authorization link can be embedded into an iframe and put on your website. For one-off authorizations, you can also type in the customer's name, their email, hit preview data request, and then just make sure you click send. And if you do it this way, your customer is going to receive an email template that looks just like this. It doesn't come from UtilityAPI or Peninsula Clean Energy. It's going to come from your work email that you use to register for the platform. So the customer knows it's from the company that they're engaging with. So you click send, you ask your customer at this point to go to their inbox and check their email. And then they'll click on securely share your utility data. And this button right here, this is just your authorization link embedded into that email template. So you can totally build whatever email you would like on your own. But if you want to use our template, which is currently already geared towards solar and storage, you can use this one as well. It's totally up to you. So let's see what your customer sees when you send them the link. So preview data request, I click send. Okay, I'm your customer. I get this email, I open it up. I click on securely share your utility data. And what's going to happen here is the Data Connect authorization form is going to populate in this URL for the customer. Now, one of the greatest parts, at least in my opinion, about Data Connect is that the customer doesn't even have to have an online account with their utility in order to share data with you, which I know can be a blocker sometimes when there are authorization prompts that require login credentials. So if the customer just has a bill lying around the home or the business and they know their account number, they can simply click here and type in their account number. If they don't have a bill lying around and they don't know how to access one, no worries. They can do a simple account lookup using their phone number, email, or address that's on file with Peninsula Clean Energy or PG&E. So let's say I don't know my account number. I'll use my phone number. I know that one by heart. So look up phone number. And then this step is where the customer receives a one-time passcode. This is very similar to, when you log into your bank, for example, they're going to send you a one-time passcode to verify that you are in fact the account owner. So that can be sent as a text, a call, or an email. It's up to the customer. Send the code. Customer receives the code and goes ahead and types it in. Submit. And then this is the final step right here. So this is where the customer can set parameters for what data they want to share with that third party that's requesting it. By default, they're going to share all their data unless they change anything. But let me show you what options that they have. So do they want to share their account details? This is like metadata, like account numbers, service agreement IDs, meter numbers, things like that. Do they want to share copies of their utility bill PDFs? And do they want to share their interval data? This gives them the option to grant you access to historical data and how long, and then also ongoing data. By default, the authorizations are good for 3 years, but they can change this right here in case you have some sort of specific contract with them, like it's a year contract, they can change it to that. And then last but not least, the customer can select which meters they actually want to share the data for. So if you're working with a homeowner who owns 3 homes, but they're only really looking at a project for one of their homes, they can go ahead and just share data for the meters for that one home here. Same thing with commercial, obviously. If they only want to share data for specific meters that are pertinent to the energy project, they can do that there. And then your customer clicks authorize, except this won't say UAPI. This will reflect your company's name that you registered Data Connect with. And they're done. So what happens next is this is your customer facing. So your customer receives an authorization receipt that looks just like this. This is really just so we can be as transparent with them about what they just did. They share data with the third party. Who is that third party? What data did they share? How far back? And it also gives the utility account holder the ability to revoke the authorization if they no longer want you to have access for whatever reason. On the flip side, if you're not live with your customer, you want to be notified when an authorization is created, obviously. And so we will send you an email notification just letting you know, hey, congratulations, so-and-so filled out the Peninsula Clean Energy authorization form. You now have 4 new meters available for download in your UtilityAPI dashboard. I'm going to touch base on this in a moment, but really quickly, if you're not using our dashboard and you decide to use the API itself, which again, I'll touch on this in just a moment, instead of getting an email notification, we have a really robust webhook system that'll notify you anytime there's a new event, such as an authorization is being created or revoked or progress on collecting new data. Whatever the case is, you can use webhooks instead of email notifications if you're using the API itself. Okay, great. So we just got an authorization from the customer. Now, what happens next is their meter list is going to appear in your dashboard. You can see this is literally the authorization that I just created. And it happens very quickly. I mean, we're talking within minutes of the customer signing the form, sometimes faster than that. So whatever meters the customer authorized you for, they're going to populate in your dashboard. Newest authorizations are always at the very top so that you don't have to search for them in the search bar. And then with the meter list, there's going to be metadata provided. So their service agreement IDs, account numbers, address, what tariff that meter's on. And from here, you can select which meters you actually want data for. So to do that, you click on Get Data, and let's say we're just downloading data for 1 meter right now. You click on Get Data, and then you would click on Collect Historical Data if you're looking to get the past 12 to 24 months. And that includes all the data sets that were authorized, the bill PDFs, interval data, billing data, et cetera. So you can start collecting historical data. However, you can also schedule ongoing monitoring. And this could be used for post-sale or, like I said earlier, energy efficiency projects, calculating ROI and whatnot. But this is where you just tell us, hey, I want you to push me data from this customer every single month. Or if you want to see their interval data on a more frequent basis, you can have us push you new data every week or even every single day. So you do have some options on the frequency of the new data. If you're doing daily or weekly updates, once a month, you'll also get all the monthly billing data as well. So I just want to point that out. And if you need to turn the meter off, you just click off and then you're all set.
Rob, we do have a quick question I want to ask you that came through the chat. How far back can a customer share utility data further than 2 years? And is this just for PCE customers or also for Utility API?
So I believe it's 24 months back is the farthest that it goes. I can double check on the authorization form really quickly.
I think we have historical data for further than that because I know we've authorized for 3 years for.
Okay, yeah, it looks like you're right because there's an option for as far back as possible.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I know we do have historical data that goes back close to when we launched in 2016. So I know, but at minimum, it can be for 3 years. I know that we do have that much.
Sweet. And then in regards to customers that are outside of PCE territory, let's say it's, a PG&E customer in Marin County, for example, PG&E will almost always push 24 months of historical data. However, we can flag your account to specifically look farther back for interval data. But in that scenario, because it's not Peninsula Clean Energy, we're at the whim of what PG&E provides. So 24 months is the farthest back we can go with the billing data there. It's a good question. Okay, so let's go back here to the dashboard. Okay, great. So I'm just showing you click Get Data, collect historical data, or schedule ongoing monitoring. However, I'm sure many of you work with customers that have more than 1 meter. And if that's the case, what you can do is you can select the meters that you want data for, and then just come up to here where it says collect data. And then at that point, you can begin a historical data collection en masse by clicking here or start ongoing monitoring. And as you can see, when I activated this meter, again, the data from behind the meter is collected typically within a minute or two. So you'll see the data streaming into your dashboard. And even if it's still working and looking for more data, it'll say running just like this. You can click on it and start viewing the data that's already been collected. So I used to do this when I was doing a bill review with a customer. Like, I'm still waiting for more data. but I have your most recent bill PDF. Let me open it up and let's start talking about your energy use that way. So just want to point that out. Now, I do want to cover the different reports that are available. Let me just refresh my screen really quickly and finish these up. Okay, so as you can see, there are quite a few different files. I'm just going to go through each one quickly. The top file will be the customer's most recent bill PDF, so PG&E's bill, and it's an actual copy of the bill itself. It's not a screenshot or an HTML screenshot or anything like that. It's their actual bill. So the most recent one, let's say we're pulling data today, it would either be January's blue bill or perhaps December's if January's hasn't been released yet. This is a zip file containing bills for all months of data we collected. So if you collect 3 years of historical data with us, that's 36 months, you would have 36 bill PDFs for the customer in a zip folder. This is their interval data. However, it's in a machine reading format. It's XML. It's one of the formats that we provide the data in. If you want a CSV Excel spreadsheet, the interval data will be down here. This is their billing data right here. So this is going to give you an overview on how they're being billed by the utility. This will contain information such as kilowatt hours, start and end dates of the billing cycle, time of use breakdowns, demand charges. That'll be in this file. This is also another billing spreadsheet right here. These two are pretty similar. The main difference here is this one that I'm hovering over. This is for Peninsula Clean Energy customers who are used to getting their usage directly from Peninsula Clean Energy rather than PG&E. And so it's formatted in a way that they're used to seeing from Peninsula Clean Energy. And really what that means is some of the headers on the spreadsheet have different names. So feel free to use either one of these or both of these. They're both billing info. And they're pretty similar here. Line items. So we do collect all the bill PDFs for you, which is fantastic, but we don't want you to have to open, every single bill in order to find specific line items that are pertinent to your projects. So this is going to be a spreadsheet with just all the data from the PDFs themselves parsed out for you. And this could be, if they have solar, net metering information that's reported by the utility would be in this file, or generation, or other sorts of demand charges could be in that file. So pretty much just all the bill PDFs broken down for you here. So overview on billing information, interval data, and then all the PDFs line items for you. Another feature is you can do what's called a custom export. So you can select meters. Let's say I select these and I can come up here to download. Now, if I choose any of these files, this will download an aggregated spreadsheet so I can combine the data from those 2 meters. So I don't want to open up 2 spreadsheets that contain billing info for each meter. I just want to open up one spreadsheet. I'm going to go ahead and select those 2 meters and then download the PCE CSV. Also the same for interval data. With the custom export, what you can do is select those 2 meters you have selected, and then go ahead and give us a date range. So I don't want to see the data for the last year. I really only want to see it for the last month. So I'm going to go ahead and select December 1st up through today. And then I'm going to go ahead and download the data, and you will get a custom spreadsheet with the data just in those date ranges. And that's about it. As far as the demo goes, essentially just in a nutshell to recap, you register as a third party, either from your utility API settings if you're a customer already of ours, or from Peninsula Clean Energy's Data Connect website. You request the data from the customer authorizes, we collect the meter list, and then you just tell us which meters you want data for, and if you want historical data, ongoing data, or both.
Great, thank you, Rob, so much. We do have a a few questions in the chat, so I think I can read those off for you and
Sounds
you can
great.
answer them. Yeah. So from Mark, the question is, if a customer authorized sharing their utility data 6 months ago and the authorization is still valid, can I get updated data, or does the customer need to submit a new authorization?
Yeah, great question. So you do not need to submit for another authorization unless the customer like explicitly opens up the receipt that was emailed to them upon the first authorization and clicks on revoke. You can just go ahead and refresh their data. So let's say you're not using the ongoing monitoring feature and 3 months down the road, you need some updated data on this customer. You can actually just click refresh right here, and we'll go ahead and just pull in the most recent 3 months and tack it onto the existing spreadsheets that you have. But no need to get another authorization. You're good to go.
All right, great, thanks. And another question from Farhad. For program implementers, what does the data look like? How is it anonymized and or aggregated across several customers? Or is authorization process only on a per account basis to a specific implementer?
Sorry, what was the first part of the question again, Sapna?
So for program implementers, what does the data look like? How is it anonymized and or aggregated across several customers?
Got
So
it.
yeah.
So the data won't be anonymized, right? You're getting the authorization directly from the utility account holder whose data you need. However, the data is standardized, and we standardize in the same way across actually every utility that we support. And so the formats that we presented in are going to be CSV, XML, and if you're using the API itself, it'll be in JSON format. And actually, that's a good reminder. I need to show everyone that we do have our API documentation publicly available. It's just utilityapi.com/docs. And this is if you want to do a technical integration into your own internal CRM or software and push the data where you want it to go as you get authorizations.
Okay, I hope that answers the question. Also, part 2 of that question was, is all of UtilityAPI's data free like PCEs?
No, so the data is only free when we have an implemented green button solution with the utility. And so currently that's going to be Peninsula Clean Energy, and then the neighboring CCA, which is Silicon Valley Clean Energy. They have a program called the Data Hive, which is similar. That's also free for you to use. And then outside of California, we have Fort Collins, which is a municipal utility in Colorado. And then the investor-owned utility in New York, National Grid, just became our newest utility that's offering something like this. But the other utilities that we support are a paid service. We are a pay-as-you-go platform, so getting the authorizations is always free. We collect the meter list for you also for free, and then you just pay by the meter, and you can see the pricing on our website for that. Yeah, it's a good question.
Right, thanks. Okay, and we have, I think we missed one more question from Mark. Mark here from Sunwork, he says, my utility API dashboard settings show I'm registered for SVCE and PCE. So this is Silicon Valley Clean Energy's Data Hive. And the status is live. Shouldn't PCE appear under the utilities dropdown in the navigation bar?
Yes, so
it should, I think.
It should. In the drop-down menu, once you're live, Peninsula Clean Energy should show up in that drop-down bar. Check your settings and make sure you're out of sandbox mode into live mode. And Sapna, maybe we can check that on our end after the call as well.
Yeah, sure.
But you should be good to go.
It should show up there. So if it's not, then we definitely want to look into that. So Mark, maybe we'll follow up with you and make sure that you're able to see it after the webinar today. Okay, and then one more question from Ryan. If we already have a utility API authorization for a customer with PCE meters, should we send an updated authorization to start accessing free data rather than paid?
I would, yeah. Absolutely. I mean, just tell them, hey, you have an easier way of getting the data, and it's actually an easier authorization process. You know, if you have a bill lying around, you know your account number, let's just go ahead and authorize this way. And that way you guys won't have to pay for the data on an ongoing or historical basis. Totally.
Yeah, and let us know if we can help in that process. We would be happy to do so.
because you're getting the same data, right? It's not like there's a difference in the data. In fact, this would be more granular with PCE's custom reports. So I would absolutely do that if I were you, as long as it doesn't disrupt anything in like the sales process or the customer journey. If they're just willing to reauthorize, I would 100% go that way.
Thank you, Rob. So those are all the questions in the chat. Is there any other questions, that anyone has on the call today? If you want to ask them, unmute and ask, or put them in the chat, then we can do that. Otherwise, we probably have just another slide or two.
Hi, this is Ryan.
Hi, Ryan.
Hi, thanks. Thanks for answering my question. Rob, you had also mentioned earlier that for accounts, whether they're through PCE or not, that you can sort of flag an account to try to get more than the 2 years of interval data.
Yeah.
Is that something that we should be contacting customer support to do, or how would we do that?
Oh, just email me. I'm just rob@utilityapi.com, and just let me know which email you have registered with us and I can flag your account.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks, Ryan. Any other questions right now? Let's see. I just wanted to point out, and I'm going to go back to my presentation real quick, that we do have Data Connect support available. So we want to really encourage all of the third parties working in San Mateo County to use Data Connect. We want to make it as easy as possible to go through this process. Since we just launched, we're really interested in getting as much engagement as possible and hearing from you on what would make the platform easier to use and more valuable to you. So please do reach out. I put the email there, support@utilityapi.com. If you have any technical concerns when you're registering or using it, you can always reach out to me as well. If you have more questions around kind of, I don't know, anything about the data or Peninsula Clean Energy or, future enhancements or anything like that, I'd like to hear from you as well on those items. And so, my email is here. So please do let us know if there's any way that we can make it easier for you to use and get access to the data that you're looking for.
Yeah, and just to piggyback on that, I just did this to the panelists. I was trying to type my email. I encourage anyone to reach out to me directly as well. If you have questions, I'm here to help. And if you need a one-on-one demo, we can absolutely go ahead and schedule that. Like I'm happy to talk to you individually about the platform, answer any additional questions that potentially pop in your head after we hop off the webinar today. So please don't hesitate to reach out to me.
Yeah, thank you, Rob. So I think, that's all we had really in terms of our presentation today. If anyone has any last minute questions, please ask them. Otherwise, I will be sending out, the slides and the link to the webinar. And again, if you work with a set of contractors or you're working with other program providers and you think this would be of interest, we are happy to do demos, particular single demos for any group of people that you're interested in getting Data Connect in front of. So just let me know. And thanks so much for your time today. And I think we'll give you some time back. So thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.